This is Haley from Woodburning Mallet, and today I want to talk to you about how I burned some of the textures in my piece, There's a Rabbit on the Run. Specifically, I'll go into how I did the rabbit fur, the tree bark, and the grass. To talk tools for a second, I burned with the Razertip SS-D10 unit with my favorite fixed tip pen, the medium spear shader. This pen is my go-to, my style is almost entirely shading, and this one gets the job done. I love the precision I can get with the point. I can turn it on an edge and do line work. I find it to be super versatile for what I do, and I use it for almost everything. For all three of the textures that I mentioned, you'll see I used a pretty similar technique, sort of gently, quickly scrubbing the tip of my burner on the wood. The main difference between each of them is the temperature I burned at and the angle at which I held the pen. For most of the rabbit fur, I used a pretty low temperature, not much above a 3 or 4 on the dial. And for most of the base layer of fur, I kept the tip of the burner almost flat against the wood. I only just barely put more pressure against one edge to gently cut the texture into the wood, which is what gives it that real soft appearance. Once I got the base layer down, I went back in for the areas that had a darker, coarser look, like along the rabbit's back. I raised the temperature a little bit and did some single strokes to make what looks like those darker, coarser hairs. I used a similar motion for the tree bark, but I raised the temperature a little bit higher. I think I was burning around a 5 or 6 on the dial here. I held the tip a little more angled toward one edge, but I did not use much pressure. I wasn't really trying to cut in. I wanted to keep it a little bit softer looking because it was further in the background. I kept the motions pretty and precise to mimic that natural way the bark ridges tend to meander up and down the tree trunk. And I curved my way around the bottom of where I had branches coming off the side. Finally, I used that similar scrubby motion for most of the grass, especially further in the background. The temperature went back down again to a 3 or 4 or somewhere in between. Right at the base of the tree went a little bit higher because the grass would have been darker thanks to the tree's shadow. The big difference here is that I angled the tip the most to really make small blades. I also started working my pen in sort of a zigzag as I worked my way across, like I was making V's or W's, trying to give the impression of clumps of grass growing together. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments if you found this helpful, if you have any questions, and what you'd like to see more of. Keep going, and I'll see you next time.